Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to today's Live at the Waterhole. We are starting the show with the fabulous Serendella. Check this family having a drink here. Is that a hippo with a terrapin on in the water there? Or is it a log? Sidetracked immediately. My name is Kelly. I'm going to be with you for the next couple of hours, hopefully. We are having I am having a few internet issues this side, so apologies in advance. If there are any dips, it's definitely from my side, so I do apologise. But welcome everyone, thank you for joining us on this fabulous Sunday afternoon. Who do we have with us? Stacey. Let's get our waterhole wiggle on. Welcome, Stacey. Indeed. Thank you very much for joining us. Hannah, let's go. You are so ready. Please all send your questions and comments through to wildearth.tv/questions and get involved. You are welcome to use the hashtag WildEarth on X if you would also like to join in the conversation. It's a pleasure to have you all present. So if you would like to get involved, please do feel free to contact us on WhatsApp on +27 786 302 336. Jess, you're asking, do all the cameras have microphones? I believe most of them do. There are a lot of different cameras. I think most of them do. But I'm not 100% sure if they all have if they all have microphones. But I know this one definitely does. And we do get some great audio sometimes from these cameras. Chomping and splashing. Mike, you're asking, where do I do the show from? I am based in Hoedspruit. Between Palabora and Orpen Gate, close to the Kruger National Park. Last month or so, I've actually been doing it from a little sofa seating thing outside because the weather is glorious at the moment. But I would imagine as the seasons change, it's going to get back up to 35 apparently here on Thursday. This is still our winter. I may move inside closer to an aircon or a fan. But yeah, from Hoedspruit, Mike, not too far from Kruger Park. Kian, okay, it is a hippo. This is the first time I've seen this hippo in this pan here, I think. But as we know, this time of year, hippos do tend to relocate and try and find alternative chill out locations. And I am not surprised that poor hippo is terrorised every day, but I'm sure it's a small price to pay for him. Oh, look at this other group coming in. This looks like a different herd coming in from behind here. It's a small price to pay for, it wasn't covering in that much, good enough water this time of year. It is very scarce. There's lots of little ones in this herd, hey? Petunia, you are asking, do you get white elephants? This has definitely got a microphone on it, Jess. Not white. We do very occasionally see extremely pale elephants. I've never seen an adult very pale. I don't think it's not quite albinism. And I'm not actually sure if it's leucism or it's just I would imagine it would possibly be leucism. And we get very pale elephants very occasionally, Petunia. But I'd like to check and find out exactly what the definition of this cause of the pale is. They're more sort of almost pinky. than white. But I've never seen an adult with that very pale colouring. Glim, so lovely to see the little elephants. They are super cute. Hey, Glenn. And look at this. I'm sure this is two groups here that's just joined in. But everyone has to be more tolerant. Shame, poor hippos surrounded by elephants. I was actually reading something. I saw something yesterday, and the statement was that it was a ex-working Asian elephant that had just died, and the statement said between 85 and 90 years of age. And I immediately thought, well, that's a bit weird. So I started doing a bit more reading, because we know our wild African elephants, they live to maybe 60, 65. Often if nature takes its course, a cause of death is often starvation, because their teeth have a shelf life, and once their teeth aren't functional enough. Is this another group coming in? Wow. Once their teeth aren't functional, they can't eat properly. So I did a little bit more digging around, and apparently there's a record of an Asian or Indian elephant in Taiwan that died aged 86. And I was trying to find out, I'm sure I read a story years and years ago about an Asian elephant, a working Asian elephant that had its teeth capped, but I've never managed to find that information again. And I did a bit more digging, and it seems to be legitimate. And I did some reading, and oh, shame, hippo, is that too close? If they're fed by humans, so soft boiled foods or boiled rice, there was some suggestions of them being hand-fed, very soft food stuff. I guess it would make sense if they're getting the nutrients they need, and they normally die because their teeth wear out. If they're not using their teeth and still getting the nutrients, then maybe it's not an impossibility. But I was very sceptical. And but I had a dig around, and it seems like it could be possible.
Oh, wow.
At Wild Earth, we believe every story has the power to create change. That's why we've launched the Wild Earth Impact Foundation, a non-profit dedicated to conservation and social impact. By showcasing conservation stories, we can change lives, protect nature, and empower communities. We have partnered with Empowers Africa to accept tax-deductible donations from US donors. Your donation will help fund critical programs that support our mission. Join us and be part of the change.
Hyenas love bathing.
I'm waiting to see how this poor hippo responds. Mayesh SA, you're saying this sighting is very picturesque. And Audrey Leanne, you're asking, are there any crocs in that waterhole? I haven't seen any, but don't take my word for it. Just because we haven't seen a crocodile, it doesn't mean they are not there. And crocodiles, the same as hippos, will also move in these dry, leaner months to find appropriate water sources. So there might be one in here. I remember many years ago, one of my first trainers told me if it's bigger than a sink, there might be a crocodile in it. There are very few rivers or waterholes. Oh, poor hippo. Move to the right a bit, hippo. Shame. There are very few rivers or water sources I would get in Africa. So Audrey Leanne, I've not seen one. That doesn't mean there's not one in here, would be my answer to that. Decent. How old can elephants live up to? Your dad says it takes 50 years for an elephant to reproduce. Unfortunately, Decent, your dad is not correct. Oh, shame, hippo. Well, I've had enough. I'm going somewhere else. Like I just said, normally wild elephants, certainly wild African elephants, I think Asian, Indian elephants similar. 50, 60 years is a very good age for a wild elephant. Ooh, what's going to happen? What's going to happen here? The little one says, oh no. But there have been records, if my minimal research, I only spent about half an hour on it, which is not much research time, suggests that there have been records of captive elephants that have lived till their mid-80s. Is this mama elephant going to chase this hippo away? He looks a bit dejected, stomping off into the bush. Decent elephants are pregnant for around about 22 months. And a female elephant, I worked it out a while ago actually. I think I did the maths. I think I worked out a female elephant could have about, I can't remember what the number was. Female elephants become sexually mature between about 8 and 10 years old, and then they're pregnant for 22 months. And then if she fell pregnant again, that would obviously be another 22 months, but I think they can have a calf every sort of 3 to 4 years, I think, something like that. So they'll be pregnant and then 2 years, and then they might have another one. So it definitely doesn't take 50 years. My numbers might be a little bit off there. But they definitely don't take 50 years to reproduce. This is cool, Images. I feel bad for that hippo. Saroj, you're really enjoying watching Wild Earth live. This is excellent. I'm very glad. Oh, look at this little one. A proper splash around. It's so amazing to watch nature. It's incredible to be able to be a part of this, Saroj. And thank you very much for getting involved. We love hearing from everyone else out there. It is my favourite part of the show. It's very important that everyone gets involved. Wildlife Lady, hello. Good to have you here. Beautiful scenes here at Serendella indeed. The hippo was getting harassed by the elephants yesterday, shame. It's not even as if... See, these thorny bush elephants, I've noticed they go in a lot. I have spent quite a bit of time in thorny bush where Serendella is, and I've seen more submerged elephants in thorny bush than anywhere else, I think. Thank you for this feedback. I think this has come from FC. The oldest known elephant in the world was Vatsala, a female Asian elephant who lived at the Penang Tiger Reserve in India. She was born around 1917 and died on the 8th of July 1925. 8th of July 2025, sorry, at the age of 109. That's insane. I'm going to screenshot that and keep that for later. I'm sure I heard it, and I'm sure it was an Indian elephant, and it was something to do with teeth capping. But I've never managed to find that information again. But I'm going to do a bit more digging around elephants and age. But it would make sense if they die of starvation in the wild, if they're being fed enough that they need to survive, then they will indeed survive for longer. But that's crazy. I'm gonna do a little bit more research on that a bit later. But thank you for that feedback. Decent. Where does the water here come from? It will be pumped, so there will be an inlet somewhere, often from boreholes. Because all of the natural pans, well, I actually went into the park. I went into the Kruger Thursday, and all of the natural pans were dry. Okay, let's leave these elephants having a beautiful splash and roll around in here. I feel bad for that hippo, but let's head across to Nkoro and see who we have got there today. Nice big group of giraffes. And again, is that I believe that's a hippo with a couple of terrapin passengers on them there. This camera also has a microphone on, I believe, Jess. I heard that oxpecker calling often a sign. I'm not sure if anyone else heard that. No, I'm not going to do an impression. Like a sound. It's a sound we're very tuned into. Are you also going to come for a drink, giraffes? I've definitely been noticing this winter there are groups of animals that sometimes you wouldn't always think might be in groups. I mean, you would sometimes see giraffe in groups. Let's go across to Tembe. We're just struggling with this camera a little bit. Maybe if it stabilises we will pop back. But let's see what's happening over there at Tembe. Well, that looked like was that a bird that just made that Inyala jump? What's going through the water there? Oh, it was him. Trying to work out what's going on here. But this time of year, in times of scarcity in many places, giraffes don't have a formal social structure. But when resources are scarce, you do sometimes find that animals will be found in groups where they might not always be, and sometimes the group sizes increase. Because everyone needs to drink, and if that means associating with other animals, then you got to do what you got to do.
What does it take to handle the wild? Balance. Determination. Focus.
Yaku!
And gear that can take a beating so you don't have to.
My full name is Mpho Tikani. I grew up in Soweto. My first animal that I filmed said to dog. Okay, no, it's my first animal that I filmed, I think it was an impala. Best sighting ever, I would say it was actually this year, 2024. But it was at this Cedric when we had Muluwati and TP on a warthog kill. I think we have to cut it.
Step into the heart of Africa from the comfort of your home.
Female leopard tracks over here.
Join our expert guides for a live 3-hour safari where every moment is real, unscripted, and unforgettable. Ask questions,
Animals rely on their senses.
share your thoughts, and be part of the experience as we explore together. Safari Live.
Karen, that's an excellent question. Is there a hierarchy when it comes to who drinks first with elephants? It depends. See, since I've been studying behaviour, I thought I'd have all the answers, and I've started to realise there's just more and more questions, and I'm just less and less likely to give a straight answer because it depends. It depends on the. I think firstly it would depend on the resource. Or a great big waterhole with lots of water in, then probably not, because there's space for everyone. I think I'm trying to think of what I've actually seen, Karen. I've seen bulls will often push females out the way. So a big adult male will, they might not have arrived with the female, but they give themselves priority over females, and the females will normally move away. Bigger bulls will often move younger males away. But if it's a breeding herd with females and little ones, not really. Not that I can think of. I've often seen little ones get there first because they will run, because they're excited and they're kids and they get super excited to go and drink. So that doesn't suggest that adults get priority over young ones. And I've never seen trying to think if I've ever seen an adult female shove a smaller one out the way. Possibly. But I think big bulls get priority because they're the biggest, Karen, but it's not, I don't think it's quite as hierarchical as some animals would be, put it that way. But great question though. These are the questions I really enjoy now. And I've got a behaviour book in front of me here for African wildlife. But even this was, I think this was published in 1999, I think. So the amount of watching and science and research that even would have happened since then is astounding. Science happens so quickly. I try and think back to see what I've seen. If I've seen something with my own eyes, then it's definitely happened. There can be lots of nuances in behaviour and reasoning and stuff. Brian, you're saying big bulls throw their weight around. Indeed they do, on all levels. They harass females, they will shove little ones out the way when they're drinking. Although, to be fair, they don't often do anything physical. Same with many animals. There's another group in the background there. Let's head across to Aldonio. We can maybe carry on this conversation at Aldonio, because this is often a lovely example of what I'm going to describe. I have seen bull elephants physically push other elephants out the way, or they will chase or knock. But I've found it's often not necessary for physical contact. Things will just move. If an elephant side eyes you, then you quickly go, alrighty, I'll be moving over here. And we often see it at this Aldonio waterhole, or this Aldonio pan, more than a waterhole, is everyone coexists relatively sedately. Jay, good question. Are there any predators that elephants have to watch out for? Not really. It's quite unusual for predators to take a chance hunting elephants. There are some lion prides that have got good at taking down not adult elephants but juveniles, but the risk is juvenile elephants live in family groups, and if you're going to take out a youngster, you've got to get through the adults. But I think it was actually a pride of lions in Chobe, if I'm not mistaken, that did hunt elephants. I've seen lions feeding on elephants, but I've always had the impression that elephant had died and lions had come to feed. I've never seen lions even consider taking on an elephant in any way, shape or form. I think there have been, it's not a predator, I think there have been records of elephants with snake bites that haven't gone well. But no, I would say that food resource, or food and water or resources, is an elephant's biggest risk in life above predation. Jay? Morgan, another excellent question. Keep them coming, everyone. It's and often questions come through that I've never even thought of before, and I think that's brilliant. That's one of the reasons I really enjoy doing this for a couple of hours. is hearing from everyone that is out there. Morgan, at what stage do elephants' tusks develop? Again, it can depend a little bit. I believe, I checked not long ago, and I think elephants actually have milk tusks, and they lose them, and then their adult tusks develop, because effectively tusks are teeth, so that wouldn't surprise me. And I believe you start seeing those adult tusks from around about the age of 2 upwards, somewhere around there. But then you've also got to remember that some elephants are genetically tuskless, which obviously means they wouldn't develop at all. Let's leave this boy here having a drink at Old Donio and see who we have got visiting the Founders camera this afternoon. Wow, that's overcast there today. Hello, Rhino. Look at that heavy cloud. There's also a little bit of cloud cover here where I am. Oh, this is nowhere. Oh, I think the Cape has possibly been. I know it's the Western Cape has been forecast heavy rain in the coming days. This rhino looks like it's having a good scratch there on that rock. Have to be a very substantial rock. I've watched large fauna attempting to rub on things before and being quite shocked when things have broken or moved. I've seen a couple of times rhino have gone to, and they lean into a log or a stick or something and it snaps, and it always gives them a fright. But I don't think this rock is going anywhere. This rhino appears to be, though. There's some heavy cloud cover. I've normally, the light at this camera often takes my breath away. Some really beautiful sunlight that we get on this camera, but not today. There's thick cloud cover.
Let's go and take a look. See you out there.
The Wild Earth Impact Foundation is a non-profit that uses the power of wildlife storytelling as a force for good. We create sustainable development projects that showcase conservation stories, empower people, and inspire environmental action. As a registered South African PBO, you can make a tax-deductible donation to the Wild Earth Impact Foundation. To find out more, visit our website.
chidzana na tsima ra ntumbuluko dlovukazi ya xitsundzuxo hosi ya rhumela.
How cool is this?
Animals can be, but yeah, I've got no doubt, BBC, that there's a pride of lions in the Okavango Delta that also hunted elephants. But as a rule, it's not, nothing is impossible, but as a rule, I've certainly never seen lions showing any interest in elephants. I've seen a few scenarios of sort of hyenas or something will have a chase around, but as a rule, if you've got to get through mum, then it's a bit of a risk. Possibly not a risk they're prepared to take. They look like they might be oxpeckers there. Seeing if they're getting any leftovers. I relearned something recently. These oxpeckers, they've got zygodactylous feet, which I think the two toes forward, 2 toes backwards, so similar to woodpeckers, and that's how they're standing on that hippo. They're on a slope, but they've got sort of 2 toes forward, 2 toes backwards, and they almost like grip onto things. It's how they balance on animals when they're walking. They've got a specific type of foot structure. Because a passerine or a perching bird would not be able to stand like that on that hippo because they've got different foot structure. I think it's 3 forward, 1 backwards, if I'm not wrong. Perching birds or passerines. There's a near passerine, I can't remember what foot structure that is. But anyway, perching birds are different to these oxpeckers that I believe to be standing here. And I didn't know it, but I saw an image of it a couple of weeks ago of how perching birds' feet work and why they don't fall off perches when they're sleeping. And they lock automatically, so when they land, is it a tendon? It's something in their feet that sort of they have to consciously open their feet rather than consciously close their feet, basically. And I saw a line drawing of it, and I think I knew, but it was an interesting reminder. I knew, but I'd never seen it drawn before. So that's why perching birds don't fall off branches when they're asleep. Their feet automatically lock. Believed to be immortal is looking fairly relaxed and chilled here. I didn't quite catch the name of the next camera we're going to, but it's in Botswana. I don't think I recognise the name. Let me see if we've been here before. I'm not sure what we're going to find. But let's go and have a look-see. Oh, Mono Equena. Okay, I've been calling it Meno. Okay, my bad. I do know this camera. I'm interested to see what the water levels are doing. The water levels here were very, very low last time I was on this camera. Glyn, you were saying the bird sounds are lovely to hear in the background. Listen to what you can hear in the background here. It's the sounds of these zebra reverberate off these cliffs, off the edges here. I've actually had to turn my sound down a couple of times on this camera because the zebras are so loud. That sounds crazy. Sam, you're saying the zebra sounds are quite creepy. Imagine that at night. I don't need to imagine that at night. I've definitely heard it. But I love the sound on this camera because it echoes. You can hear it bouncing off the walls of this this dry Buteti riverbed. Alex Rosso, you are asking, how long can a hippo stay out of the water? Again, Alex, it's gonna depend. Technically, like they eat grass and they breathe air. They don't normally stay out of the water. Well, normally they'll come out in low temperatures, they'll go out and feed. You see Moto there was chilling close to the water. They have got very sensitive skin, so their skin could be affected quite badly. But technically they don't have, it's not like they're fish, they don't need to breathe underwater. How long would it be before they died? I don't know, Alex. If they had food and water to drink. That's a really good question. As a rule, they won't normally stay out of water for more than 6 or 8 hours a day when they get out to feed and it's cool. But how long would it be before they succumbed to something? I don't know the answer to that, Alex. They would be very uncomfortable and their skin would be sore. Maybe they would get skin infections. But I don't know the answer to that, Alex. That's a really good question. Paulie, you are asking, why are the zebra so vocal? I've been giving a lot of thought about this, Paulie. I think there's going to be lots of different families or herds or whatever you want to call them gathered in this area. So I think some of it might be to do with contact and keeping in touch with everyone. But also, if you think about it, if you followed a group of zebra for the day, they will occasionally make sound. But I think the numbers, because there's so many here, I mean, I think I've got like 15 zebra in this estate, and it's a big estate, and they wander all over the place, and they're often out of earshot. But I still hear a zebra call most days, maybe just once, but they move. So I think it might be something to do with family contact. They might be under a bit of stress, a bit of pressure with resources. But there's also lots of zebra here. So if, for example, a family group of 10 zebra vocalise 5 times a day or 4 times a day, if you put loads of those family groups together, it's going to mean more vocalisations. That's what I think, anyway. Dark Mane Lover, it's always an elephantastic day when you see Ellies because they bring you so much joy. They are fabulous to watch, Dark Mane Lover. There we go, a little bit of mud. Getting in all those hard to reach places. Hannah, are all mammals able to swim? That's a massive question. My brain is trying to rummage through all mammals on Earth, and I can't. I know white rhino don't swim, black rhino do swim, but I believe it's more about the position of their head carriage. Does that mean they can't swim? Or does it mean that if they try and swim, they can't lift their head high enough? That's my first thought process, and now I'm just trying to rifle through all the other mammals. And I can't. I'm not gonna answer either way, Hannah. White rhino not swimming, just because they don't swim, it doesn't mean they can't swim. Oh, I'm so ambiguous, aren't I? And I'm not going to cheat. Whenever I do this, I don't cheat. If I don't know the answer to something, I will make a note of it. But I think, actually, I'm actually going to make a note of that because I'd like to investigate that further.
This is an unbelievable afternoon.
My full name is Tikani. Best part of my job is coming to see nature. Worst part of my job is logging. That's the worst thing ever, because you have to log amount of footage. You sit in front of that computer, and yeah, you think of deleting the footage, but no, they need the footage. If I want a camel, probably a soccer player. I know some people don't believe me, but I'm very good, I'm very fast.
Join our expert guides at dawn for a live, immersive safari as the bush comes to life.
Found ourselves a chameleon, and look how he's changed colour.
Every sunrise brings new discoveries.
Pound for pound, a leopard is one of the strongest cats around.
Ask questions, share your thoughts, and connect with nature live and in real time.
Great excitement, great happiness.
Start your day with adventure. Are you ready for the adventure of a lifetime? Wild Earth Travel's newsletter is your passport to a magical journey. Explore exclusive travel options featuring special offers at stunning Wild Earth locations and all hosted by your favorite presenters. Don't miss out. Head over to our website and subscribe to the Wild Earth Travel newsletter today and stay in the know on all our unforgettable adventures. Wild Earth Travel, where Africa comes alive.
Can swim. I'm pretty sure they can't, but so I am cheating and checking. Ah! Okay, bats can swim. Backstroke. They use their wings like a breaststroke motion. Well, I never. Ha, I was wrong. How interesting is that? Bats swimming. I am going to do some more research on that though. Can all mammals swim? But I'm not going to cheat on that. I just wanted to find out about the bats. Jason, yes, apparently that did indeed break the camera. But we can happily discuss that brief, surprising interlude there of okay, Lady Macbeth, thank you for that. No, I didn't think they could. I was just rifling through my brain of trying to think of all the mammals on Earth, and I wasn't able to. You're saying chimps can't, nor can giraffe or white rhino. I know white rhino don't swim because they would drown because of their head carriage. But yeah, I didn't think it. But I was surprised that bats can though. I suppose they've got like little, like, what are they called? Like arm flippers. Arm flippers? It's not the word I'm looking for, but you know what I mean. But that was a very interesting flash of what was indeed two male elephants with one mounting the other, which is a fascinating but not super unusual behaviour to see. Oars, that's the word I was looking for. Thank you, FC. That's a much more appropriate word than arm flippers. Oars, yeah, bats have built-in oars, so why wouldn't they swim? Thank you very much for your assistance in this matter. So the behaviour we just briefly saw was two male elephants, one was mounting the other one, and there's lots of reasons that animals will mount each other. It's not, it's a myth that it's always a dominance thing. I know certainly for domestic pets, or certainly for dogs, if you see a dog mounting another dog, it's actually rarely dominance. And to sort of prove this, if female dogs mount another dog, that's not a sexual behaviour, because females don't mount when they mate. It can be dominance in wildlife, but it can also be communication. I know frequently dogs will mount other dogs when they don't really know what to do with themselves. Everything is just a bit much, and they act out of over arousal. It's just something to do when they don't quite know how to behave. Maybe there is an element of dominance in elephants, but not always, I don't think. Oh, lovely. Yes, let's go to Camelthorne. I'm keen to see what's happening over there at the Croc Cave. And indeed are vast numbers of hippopotamuses across at Camelthorne. Oh, we've got the hippos over here now. This is the first time I've seen the hippos on this side. Huh. I'm not sure what those hippos are eating. I'm sure they must be doing something though. Sharon, the elephant moment was quite shocking. His penis almost looked prehensile. They kind of are. They can move their penises in quite specific ways. They will often unsheath their penis to help with temperature regulation. It's a big surface area. So they kind of are. They can't sort of pick things up with it, but they can move that. Elephants can move their penis quite specifically and strategically. Oh yeah, lynx, it looks like we've got a hippo migration now. Shame these hippos are having to spend more and more time out of the water. Also where I am, we've got an area along a river that there's a picnic spot there, and it's called Hippo Pools, and we've never actually seen a hippo there, but the other day we were down there and there was very fresh signs of hippo dung, tracks coming up from the river, so yeah, we walked quite carefully from about 4 o'clock, because you're not going to bump into a hippo here at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. You might bump into them here at 1:30. So never assume that they're having to spend a lot of time out of the water. I wonder if these hippos, I mean, I've seen more hippos out of the water here at Camelthorne than in the water, I think. I wonder if their skin sort of gets used to it a bit. A couple of questions about what these hippos are indeed eating. I didn't see what they were eating. It's not impossible that they would eat poop. I've never seen a hippo doing it, but it would. Hippos have got quite a specialist stomach structure. I think they're near ruminants. So they've got a 3-chambered or a 3-phase process, which isn't as effective as ruminants, but it's slightly more effective than hindgut fermentation. But as a result, there may still be some nutrients in their poop, so it depends how desperate they were. I'd be surprised if they ate anything, or certainly I'd be surprised if they ate elephant poop. Elephants probably this time of year would have been feeding on lots of bark and sticks and cambium and stuff, which a hippo is probably going to really struggle to digest because they're grazers. So to be able to digest material that has been pooped by an elephant is highly unlikely and possibly even detrimental to them, if that's not what their stomachs are designed for. But it wouldn't stun me if they were re-eating hippo poop. But to me, it almost looks like they're feeding on something that's been put there. Oh, okay. I see you're saying they believe it looked like elephant poop. I'd be surprised. Because if you look at elephant poop, especially this time of year, elephants are feeding on like bits of sticks and stuff, and it's not impossible. Because elephants being hindgut fermenters, they've got a terrible digestive system, so they will poop out quite a lot of stuff. Their poop will not be that processed. But it would be more on their diet. They must be eating, well, they are eating, we've seen them doing it. I've watched many times eating sort of bark and stuff this time of year. There's not much nice grass. They might be digging up roots and things, whether or not hippos would be able to even get any nutrients out of that. They might. If anything, I would probably say they'd be more likely to re-eat other hippo poop.
For years, we've shared virtual wildlife. Now, let's experience it for real. I'm Lauren Arthur, and I'd love to show you my amazing home here in the Greater Kruger of South Africa. This 5-night journey is an exclusive connection to my piece of untamed Africa. I live here in these gorgeous landscapes surrounded by epic wildlife. The wild is calling, so come and join me.
And that's it for this morning's drive.
She's just got her impala, everybody.
And we're going to be heading out and seeing what animals we can find.
Rains come, although we're still probably quite certainly in my area. Maybe mid-September if we're lucky. It looks like they're sort of hoovering the floor for something. A small one. I'm not sure if anyone can hear. I've got another very noisy bulbul in my garden. I don't know what they're shouting about over there. Maybe there's little tiny bits of grass trying to come through over this side. Maybe that's why they've come across this side. It looks like they're sort of... Oh. See, look at how they're sort of fanned out. I know some of my plants here are starting to shoot, and we really haven't. I think we had like one tiny spattering of random winter rain, and I know everything explodes soon as. See, look, what's that one at the back there? Just picked something up, which looked like it might have been a big strip of bark, which could indeed have come from elephant poop. See, look, that one's stood right in front of that elephant poop. Let's see if it digs around in it. No, see, that one just walked straight through that pile and didn't rummage. Okay, Penelope Canyon, I thought so. You're confirming the hippos are fed fodder grazing donated by locals and many others. From the Doubt Drays, people brought food as they were eating elephant poo to survive. Okay, interesting. They have been it's not impossible, but I just try and think of the function that it would fulfill. But I suppose if hippos have a 3-step process and elephants have a 2-step process to digestion, but it's more the content of what would be in the elephant poo. But I suppose if elephants have been reaching up and getting green matter from any leftover tree leaves, despite the fact hippos are grazers, you do what you've got to do, I guess. But yeah, it looks to me like they're currently nibbling on something that's maybe been left for them. Let's head across to Tau. I know we have been seeing some very interesting crocodile reproductive activity across there. I'd love to go and see what they've been up to. Mike, you're asking what supplements they'd leave. They are food like grazing, I assume like hay or something, and they are grazers, so it would be normally grass-based. And I know sometimes mineral licks or salt licks are left for animals in very lean times. Tanaka Makeka Mahika, sorry, excuse my pronunciations. Hippo give birth to how many babies per birth? Normally only one. As with many of the big animals, I'm sure there may have been an occasional record of twins, but it's normally one baby at a time. Glenn, you are asking, can hippos eat meat? That's a really interesting question, Glenn. But I believe there have been records of them nibbling on carcasses in water. I've seen a report of it, and then I know everyone went, no, that's not possible, it's confused, and there was lots of research into it. They're not meat eaters as such. Would they never ever put their mouth on a little bit of something to have a nibble? I personally think they probably would. I'm a firm believer in if there's nutrition in something, animals will try and get it out, which I guess, if that's my belief, would they try and reabsorb nutrition from elephant poo containing bark? Probably. They do what they've got. Animals do what they've got to do to survive. I know something's been eating my rubber euphorbias, which are supposed to be highly toxic. You can see they've been nibbled at the sides. So animals do what they've got to do to survive. Really, there's a beautiful grey heron here. Let's see if he's going to manage to grab a fish. Patience of these hunting herons astounds me. Linda, you're not wrong. A crocodile would grab a heron if it could, and crocodiles do eat birds or hunt birds if they can get their mouths on them again. If they can get their mouth on it, they'll normally eat it. And it fascinates me actually how close birds will let crocodiles come. I think they're foolish. But what do I know? Birds and crocodiles have been cohabiting for quite some time, and most of them seem to be managing, so who am I to judge? Max, the hunter could become the hunted indeed, as can frequently be the case in nature. Nature can be brutal. A little white-faced whistling duck doing a spot of preening. Very important to keep those feathers orderly and in tip-top condition. See, I'm surprised that this greenery in here doesn't get utilised more heavily. I know we do sometimes see elephants in here. Waterbuck will also often come into the water. Let's head back across. We're struggling with this. Mate, I don't know what's going on today. The cameras seem like they're struggling, and my internet isn't. Maybe everyone's having an off Sunday day. Let's go back to Nkoro and see our little giraffe gathering. Look how they're all stood in the shade of that tree there. It always entertains me when I see animals sharing shade. I've seen prides of lions sort of literally laid just in the edges of shade. They will find a little patch and almost flop down in exactly the same outline as the shade and then sort of shift as the shade moves. I went into the Kruger. I had to go somewhere and I decided to make it work so I could drive back through the Kruger Park on Thursday. I was in the Kruger. I actually went across the Shalati Bridge and waved at the camera. Had some very cool sightings. Had a lovely lion sighting very close to the road, mating pair of lions. That was cool. But I think my favourite sighting when I was in there, well, there was two. One was I had two brilliant slender mongoose sightings. My favourite one of the two was one of them went to run across the road, and I thought, oh, it's gone. And it laid down on the edge of the road in the sand. I thought, that's strange. I managed to get a couple of pictures. And then another one came along. I think it may have been courting slender mongoose, and also laid down at the side of the road, like there were a couple of lions. And one of them laid down flat on its belly with all spread out. And I watched them for about 5 or 10 minutes. It was brilliant. And the other one, which was lovely, was a sand grouse, double-banded sand grouse. And as is often the case, I didn't see it when I was driving, and I saw something move and I swerved and I stopped and I looked back and I thought it was a Franklin, but I looked back and it was actually a female sand grouse, and she had laid down on top of her little ones. And as she stood up, as I stopped, I looked back, she had 3 little chicks, and she'd been brave enough to try to keep her chicks safe from my car by hiding them under her wings. But they were all fine, but teeny tiny little sand grouse chicks. That was very cool.
This unfolds in front of you.
Even a hyena coming into the action as well now. Oh my word! She's stalking the hyena now. Leopard, hyena, lion, all together in one shot. Oh. Whoa. This is action-packed.
My name is Takudzwa Panda Msesani. My scariest moment is when it happened twice. The other time I was with Cedric and the other time I was with Steve. And all those times, it was a black mamba. My favorite meal in camp is gonna be burger and chips.
Join us on the greatest and largest game drive in the world.
On a bone there, which is something I couldn't quite work out if she was just responding to that male. But you see, if you watch her rolling that bone around in her mouth, look. That's a cool behaviour to see. Osteophagia or osteophagy. Eating of bone. She's not like biting it, she's more just chewing it. Often see animals or giraffe doing this in drought conditions to try and add minerals, but that male was very interested in what was going on around her back end. She was having a poop, but I'm sure he took the opportunity to get his nose onto there and get a good sniff to find out, to test, to see if she was currently reproductively viable, for want of a better word. Pete, you're saying this colouring is perfect for lions. They must love this time of year, right? It would be so difficult to see a lion, but it is so difficult to see a lion this time of year. Exceptional camouflage, and then of course when everything greens up, everything is long, they can then, rather than using colour for camouflage, they will use density rather. But yeah, the camouflage for all your tan creamy coloured animals this time of year is really quite exceptional. Garth, you're asking, do they only chew old bones? I don't know. I suppose a bone is a bone, and a bone has the same stuff in it if it's old or fresh. But maybe as that bone is exposed, as it very, very slowly starts to break down, there's more minerals available. It sort of, as it disintegrates, it releases more stuff that's not in the bone, that's a part of the bone. I'm not sure, Garth. I'm just trying to think if I've ever... It's often quite... for me, I've seen... Not often close up, so it would be very difficult to know, or even it would be very difficult to know if it hasn't got meat on it, or you didn't, if you saw a lion kill a wildebeest or something on the Thursday, and then you saw a giraffe that happened to be chomping on the bone on the Tuesday of the following week, you would know it was fresh. I'm just trying to think. I don't recall seeing any giraffe chomping any bones with any flesh left on them. But then I don't often see any bones with any meat left on them laying around, because they're normally finished by everything. If not vultures, then flies or other decomposers get in there pretty quickly. Let's check these wildebeest in this little patch of shade. I'm not sure. Would a giraffe, if you sort of... I'm going to also check that, Garth. I think I'm going to put it with my my other homework. So I want to do a bit more reading around swimming mammals. Let's head back across to, I'm going to guess tau, because I heard crocodile. I'm not sure where, maybe it could be camel thorn, but let's go and see some crocodiles. But I am going to make a note too. Giraffe only, that is indeed tau, only eat old bones. So I know we have been seeing quite a bit of mating behaviour from these crocodiles here at Tau. They have laid eggs here before, but they have not quite had the right conditions. We've never had baby crocodiles here that I'm aware of. Never quite had the right conditions here to end up with baby crocs. Also saw 2 honey badgers when I was in Kruger early on. Quite early in the morning. I've actually had a couple of nice honey badger sightings here at Tau before, at this waterhole. It's a big open, sort of open area around this waterhole, and I've seen a couple of honey badgers hustling their way across this area before. So my reptile book said we often see mate in sort of South Africa area anyway, mating behaviours between July and September. If eggs are going to be laid, often between October and December. But I guess we will have to wait and see. It might be a case that they don't have the correct substrate or conditions. But there's also quite a lot of activity around this waterhole, comings and goings and elephants and all sorts of animals regularly frequenting this waterhole. So even, I suppose they do bury them. But if I was a crocodile, I would still rather have my nest in a slightly less busy thoroughfare. I can only see 2 of these crocodiles here at the moment. Mandy, you're saying you're loving the colours of these crocodiles. It is nice to see them there. They look clean and washed, and what I should be doing is taking records of these markings. I think I did finally work out that it was normally the darker crocodile that was underneath, suggesting that was a female. And it does look like the one on the right here is darker than the one on the left. Mandy, you're asking, does their colour change during the year or with age? Babies are slightly lighter, I believe. But they don't sort of hugely change colour. Their markings should in theory stay the same over time, but again it will depend on it could get darker as they get older, but it's often quite subtle. But any sort of these markings should You know, if you learnt the chessboard markings along one tower, you should be able to identify them. And again, it can depend on habitat, their environment, lots of factors that can impact any colour change as they get older. But they won't do that. If anything, they would get slightly darker as they got older. But they're not sort of going to go, you know, dark black or anything like that.
My name is Amy, and today we're going to be doing things a little bit differently.
At Wild Earth, we believe every story has the power to create change. That's why we've launched the Wild Earth Impact Foundation, a non-profit dedicated to conservation and social impact. By showcasing conservation stories, we can change lives, protect nature, and empower communities. We have partnered with Empowers Africa to accept tax-deductible donations from US donors. Your donation will help fund critical programs that support our mission. Join us and be part of the change.
My name is Takudzwa Panda Msesani. I really want to film an artwork, and it has been my goal. I'll be just keeping my eyes open. The worst driver is James. He's driving, yeah. You gotta be holding on back in there, yeah? Like in bumps, and I mean, it happens when, these things happens when you're actually going for animals usually. But then, yeah, he's driving, yeah, you gotta put your seatbelt.
Join our expert guides at dawn for a live, immersive safari as the bush comes to life.
Found ourselves a chameleon, and look how he's changed colour.
Every sunrise brings new discoveries.
Pound for pound, a leopard is one of the strongest cats around.
Ask questions, share your thoughts, and connect with nature, live and in real time.
Great excitement, great happiness.
Start your day with adventure.
Out here, every wild moment counts, and as a Wild Earth explorer, you won't miss a thing.
Incredible.
Watch the Wild Earth channel ad-free 24/7 and rewind if you want to catch something again. Enjoy behind-the-scenes videos, fireside chats, and early access to travel offers. The best way to stay connected and be part of the Wild Earth family.
Oh, lovely. I think we might have some buffalo across at Shalati. I was here the other day. I did not see any buffalo, so let's go and see if we can pick some up on the cameras. Oh, I've seen these. Oh, there was 6 buffalo here on this sandy bank a little while ago. Maybe there's more in the reeds here, but this is a great spot. If I was a male buffalo, this is where I would be. Greg, I'm trying to rationalise now. I am going to check. I will investigate more, but my gut says probably not. Kapotso, you're asking how long do Nile crocodiles take to hunt again? And I was on that bridge the other day. It depends what they're eating. Kapotso, if they catch something enormous, they will go a long time. But if they catch a little fish, then they will have to hunt more frequently. I actually drove over this bridge 3 times on Thursday. I wasn't going to go that way, and I thought, oh, let's just have a quick look at the bridge. And so I drove over, and then I turned around and came back again. I then found out that I couldn't actually go the way I thought I was going to go anyway, so I drove back over it again. So if anyone was watching this camera and saw a car driving backwards and forwards on Thursday, it might have been me. Sharon, I like that. Each buffalo has their own private island. I like that a lot. Yeah, if I was a male buffalo, this is a great spot. I would have my own private island. It almost looks like there's a little bit of a wash of green on there. He's got an oxpecker. Looks like a little wagtail. And there was also a blacksmith's lapwing there. His own little bird collection too. It wouldn't surprise me if there's a couple more. Couple more buffalo in here as well somewhere. There was actually a lovely juvenile fish eagle not far from was it this bridge? Oh, I can't remember if it was this bridge or not. But I think I finally managed to learn what a juvenile fish eagle looks like. I have spent many hours over the years thinking, oh, is that an osprey? And checking. But yeah, I think I've finally managed to learn the physical structure of a juvenile fish eagle compared to an osprey, rather than just going on markings and coloration, because they can get a bit confusing. Sandy Franklin 69, you're asking, how do crocodile teeth compare to a lion's teeth? Lions have got less for a start. I think lions have got... A lion is not the same as us, but it's got the molars and carnassial shears and canines, and I think even humans have got teeth that are called the same sort of thing. Despite looking very different. Oh, we've got elephants down there. And I think crocodiles, all their teeth are just pointy and sharp for biting. I know crocodiles' teeth can be replaced if they're lost. I think, well, I know certainly canines. I've seen lions with missing canines before that have not grown back. So lions cannot. But crocodiles are also, they grab, lock on, and they will twist chunks of meat off, and then they sort of swallow whole, whereas lions they've got those carnassial shears. They're able to slice bits of meat off of things with their teeth. So there's quite a few differences. They're all dangerous, but in different ways, for different reasons, for different things. Is this female elephant shouting at one of these buffalo? Did you see she just sort of stopped and looked and turned? Elephants and buffalo often cohabit fairly happily, but she's... Oh, look at this little one. So our buffalo obviously don't want to hunt elephants. A ram from a big old buffalo could do a lot of damage to a young one. Oh, look, that's very cute. Face down in the dirt. These elephants might have walked a long way to get to this water, although with calves this young they probably wouldn't venture too far. But we know these little ones do often get quite excited when they're coming down to drink.
My name is Amy, and today we're going to be doing things a little bit differently.
What does it take to handle the wild? Balance. Determination. Focus.
Yaku!
And gear that can take a beating so you don't have to.
Full name is Maxine Gaines. Most people that know me really well call me Max. I'm a mum. I have two boys. One is 16 years old and one is 14 years old. I'm a very, very proud mama of my two boys. I've just always been passionate about leopards. I'm passionate about their conservation. I'm just passionate about everything to do with leopards. I love them.
Hannah, you're asking how did Mortal get his name? I can't remember what it means. Someone told me recently what Mortal means. I think it was actually Kerry that told me. I can't remember, Hannah. I think it means something. Is it go quickly? It might mean go quickly. I think it might mean go quickly, and I would assume if that is the case, he got his name by chasing things. I think that's where it came from, Hannah. Moonbeam Smith, seems a bit odd to see a hippo just drink like this. Yeah, but he's a bit of an anomaly, is Mortal. But it does, I agree, it does seem a bit odd when they can, but I suppose... But they'd normally just drink when they're in the water, I guess, just sort of... Just sort of suck through there, because they do use their lips to sort of purse, for want of a better word, when they drink. Well, I guess they could do that if they were just swimming like this. So elegant, boy, look at that. Mortal is... I didn't know that, Capozzo. Mortal is a hippo Madagascar. Well, that would also make sense. I'm just trying to think. There isn't. I've heard an animal with name recently, and the name is meant go quickly. Because it chased things, and I had in the back of my brain that might have been him, because I do know he chases things. But that would also make complete sense. Capozzo, if he's named after the Madagascar hippo. I have seen Madagascar, but not for a very long time. Brilliant movie that is. He's having a blast in here. Rolling around with those four-toed feet in the air. Absolute bliss. I'm sure if he's been laying out in the sun, he might be having a nice cool-down moment. Oh, let's go across to Aldonio. I think there's some birds over there. I'm going to get my international bird book if we are going to be doing some Aldonio birding. I see those superb starlings there. They are stunning, stunning birds with those That's it. That's it. I remember now. That's it. I remember now. Kerry did tell me. Kerry knows Mortal. Well, she spent time there. And it does indeed mean fire in Swahili. I remember now. But I have heard of something else recently, an animal that's named Go Quickly, but maybe it wasn't him. His moto is fire in Swahili because of his fiery personality, I believe. But I did see some superb starlings there. There we go, there they are with those lovely orange eyes, blue backs, chestnut underbellies, and they've got sort of that white, beautiful white sort of line across their chest mixed in with other starlings. That looks like a pied wagtail at the back there. Although I shouldn't assume wagtails because we are in Kenya. Let's see if there's any other wagtails up there in Kenya. Wagtails. Oh, there's lots of 364. If you hear me flicking through a book, it's because I'm flicking through a book. Let's see if... Okay, that could indeed be a pied wagtail up across there. These are one of the weavers. Checking this weaver. There's like a ring-necked dove there. There's something darker at the back. What's that? I'm not sure what that is on the right there. Oh golly, there's another, is that another weaver just come in? There's something with its head just sticking up slightly on the right hand side there. It's almost like a juvenile oxpecker or something. There we go. Listening to the call often helps. I think that was a juvenile oxpecker that was hiding at the back there, travelling because of this rather large giraffe. Kapotso, curious question. Do giraffes ever make a sound? Yes. They don't make sort of barks or moos or anything specific, but they can vocalise. They can huff, snort, puff. I've heard them sort of make almost like whiny sounds. So while they don't call, so to speak. Oh wow, what are they? I don't know what they are. Oh, I'm going to take a picture in case they leave. Oh, come on, starlings, get out of the way. That almost looks like a buffalo weaver or a sparrow weaver type shaped bird. Let's see if I can find them in this book before we finish. Which is a rather large book. Oh gosh. Let's see if they are a weaver. Wow, there's a lot of weavers. So white fronts, orange tails, black backs. Okay, so these are all yellow reeders. Got that russet vent there. Okay, that is not a weaver. Anyone out there in the last 90 seconds can help me with this bird that has now left? Otherwise I'll put it on my homework list, because I did manage to get a picture. Recycled Teenager UK, brilliant question. Robins are in the UK are always linked with Christmas. Which bird would South Africa celebrate at Christmas? Oh, we've got so many. All our migrant birds are back at Christmas. Remember, Christmas is our summer. We've got Christmas beetles. Can I offer you a Christmas beetle instead? We actually call them Christmas beetles as well. So I will swap your robin for our Christmas beetles. I think Recycled UK Teenager, or Recycled Teenager UK even. But it's time for us to go. Thank you all so much for being here on this Sunday afternoon. It's very cool things. I've got some very exciting homework that I look forward to participating in. Take care out there, be safe, and I hope to talk to you all again soon. Thanks very much. Bye-bye.
This is Safari Spotlight, a journey into the wildlife wonders of Southern Africa. Join us on an enthralling virtual safari to relax, learn, and be inspired. Discover magnificent landscapes, meet our iconic animal stars, and enjoy stunning conservation success stories. If you would like to experience these magnificent wild places, visit Wild Earth Travel. The wild is calling.